This is NDTV, and you're watching Classics.
Hello and welcome to Walk the Talk. I am Shekhar Gupta, and what am I doing in a college called Arya College, Ludhiana? It's no IIT, no IIM, no St. Stephen's, Xavier's, Elphinstone, Loyola, but a small college, a modest college in small town Punjab, in the town of Ludhiana. And I am here because it's institutions like these which are now powering Middle India into what's becoming the toast of the world. And my guest today, perhaps the proudest alumnus of this institution, Sunil Bharti Mittal.
Hello, Shekhar.
Sunil, I bet when you walk around the social circuit in Delhi, snooty as it is, you've often been asked, so in which year did you pass out of St. Stephen's College?
I do get asked questions from which university or institute I passed out of in the US or UK. And then I tell them about my college and about my small town, which is producing, to my mind, equally good students and brains.
Yes, and you're never defensive about that.
No, no.
Nor am I.
Absolutely.
I think it's a badge of pride.
Oh, it is indeed. I always say education is one of the many ways of acquiring knowledge. One good, standard, accepted one. But there are many other ways. I learned most of my stuff on the street, but I have very fond memories of my time spent here in this college.
Mostly bunking. I believe this was your faculty. This is the commerce faculty. This is where you attended classes, if you attended classes.
I was not a great student, Shekhar. In fact, for me, the biggest time of difficulty was passing out of college. And the principal here was my father's professor. And he told my father, send him under my wings. I'll ensure that at least he's a graduate, which I did become in 1976.
So did he sometimes curse your father for it? Ye kaun de diya?
No, he was actually very fond of me. I was always a student who had multi-disciplinary activities. I was a pilot, private pilot in those days. I was a table tennis captain in the college. So we'll do a lot of things outside the education area.
Right.
But I will manage to get decent grades. I was not in the top quintile, but I was always reasonable.
But there's something about, I believe you were a great one at cracking. You wrote the best guest papers for exams.
Yes, I did. In fact, given the limited time I had, there was one exam a year in those days. And you had to get 5 questions right out of 10 or 12 which were given. And my job for the whole tribe, which would depend on me, was to find those magical 5 questions. I never failed them. We always got 3 right. Most of the occasions there were 4, and sometimes we hit the jackpot with 5.
You were as good at guessing questions in our exams as you were at guessing policy changes in telecom.
I wouldn't claim that we were always perfect, but I must say that technology shifts, policy shifts were seen by our company ahead of time. We could prepare ourselves given the shocks that we have had.
So you've been able to anticipate those 5 questions?
I would say yes. I would say yes.
You know, the reason I brought you here, Sunil, it's taken us a year and a half planning this for you to find time to come to Ludhiana, because it's out of the line of business, is because I have this view that India is today being powered by people I describe as HMTs, people like us, Hindi medium types. And I thought, since everybody presumes that India is being driven ahead by IITs, IIMs, by India's elites, maybe times now come to challenge that notion a little bit and to show our audiences some live examples of the opposite.
No, absolutely. While I would say India's temples of higher learnings like IITs and IIMs are crucial, but the fact is they are catering to such a small, limited amount of students, and the rest of India really needs to get into the second, third tier colleges like these ones. And I can tell you, these colleges are producing world-class citizens, world-class professors, doctors. Most of India is powered by these colleges.
Absolutely. In fact, most of India's ruling elites now, all India services, armed forces, judiciary, the corporate world now. But tell me, Sunil, take us back a little bit to your times here. How did those times prepare you for what you faced subsequently in life?
Well, I think resilience, coming from a middle class background in a very surcharged atmosphere. Ludhiana is a city where almost everybody works for themselves. You are surrounded by businessmen, business families, and it looks much bigger, I have to be honest. That's a very Punjabi thing. You always, putting out perceptions.
You mean physically bigger? Or?
No, even from the point of view of size of business,
Because we say here in Punjabi style cooking, particularly Ludhiana style cooking, the link is kitchen to coronary, isn't it?
Which is also true. That's another part that, we Punjabis eat very unhealthy food and quickly land up in hospitals. But on the business side, I would say the inspiration was great. Everybody was working. There were hosiery exports to the USSR. In those days, the Soviet Union, bicycle parts, Hero cycles, Avon cycle was, producing a lot of cycles. So one got a lot of inspiration. And I would say sitting here in these rooms, one really wanted to do something exceptional.
Your friends tell me, people who knew you from those days, that you were extremely audacious. You never bothered about the size of your company when you went out to make a deal. And people often got the impression that you were much bigger than you actually were. Or no, people didn't easily figure how much of a beginner you were in most areas.
I think you're right. And I think that's again, Punjabi trait, that you could project your image, your size to be bigger than what you actually were. And if you recall in 1992, when we bid for the mobile licenses, our company was 25 crores in sales, not profit.
Right.
It was really a tiny company. But the image of the company was more like a 100 crore company. So yes, I think that was important, and we carried it with a strong conviction and sincerity. And I think that gave us the necessary credibility in the market.
You have some instances of how this worked, how this image of being much bigger than you were worked?
I can give you a very good instance. In 1992, when I was bidding for the mobile licenses, we were 25 crores in sales, and people told us this business is meant to be a business for only big business houses. You need deep pockets. I was in France with a company called Compagnie Generale des Eaux, which was the third or fourth largest company. And when we met, we had this discussion. I could charm this gentleman, who was the vice chairman of the group, through a 2-hour conversation, finishing with the MOU which we signed, and I came back home. 2 days later, he realized our size when some other Indian business house went there. And he sent a team to check on us, and the team went back and said,
was it a rival business house?
It wasn't rival, but it was a large business house.
Showed them pictures of the college you came from.
Possibly. But of course, that company was shocked and regretted the decision, but thankfully stayed on course. And that, I would say, changed my course of life. We won the cellular license.